So when you move on from there, what is the next step? For any young person, the most important things to have after your medical aid and your car insurance if you're driving is a simple hospital plan, a simple life cover. Now, the question I have is, why do I need life cover? I'm like, why do I need life cover? I'm 30 years old, I'm not married, I don't have a bond, I'm just renting.
Life for who?
Okay. So it's not that you need the life cover, it's the things that come with life cover. So on a life cover policy, you can add illness cover, which some people would call it known as dreaded disease cover. You'd have disability cover, because what's the point of I'm in a car accident, I'm disabled, and I have no money, but my medical aid is covering my hospital procedures, and then I've still got no cash afterwards. And those things are so inexpensive. I mean, a 30-year-old million rand life cover might cost 100 rand. You're talking under 300 rand for like a million rand life cover, disability cover, and then add some illness cover, because most our claims that we see are illness claims. So it's important to have something. I remember when my son was 18, I had a life cover policy for him, and my friends were always asking me, how can you take out a life policy for your son who's 18 years old? And I said to them, very simple. I said, my son's driving a car. It's not really the life cover. It's more the disability, because what happens if he's disabled in a vehicle? Then, number one, it's very difficult to get covered, even if you half recover. It's difficult to get covered down the line because they'll exclude you. Yeah. So it was 210 rand, if you can think, for some life cover, some disability cover. I think we had 1 million and 200,000 worth of illness cover. Because when you get a condition, God forbid anyone gets conditions, but if something happens to you when you're young and you want to take a life policy or illness cover, and you've had a condition, they can exclude it, and then you can't get it. So then you take it out when you're young.
Because it's an affordable precautionary measure, hey?
Correct. And it doesn't have to be expensive. But what I'm saying is, if you want to buy an asset like an apartment or something, you need life cover to cover the debt on that bond. But then you should also have disability, because what's the point of having life cover and I'm disabled? Because if I don't have disability, how am I going to carry on paying the bond? Also have some illness cover, because illness covers pay you out an immediate tax-free payment, and more than likely, even if we look at cancer stage 1 or those kind of things, you will recover. And it's nice to get an immediate cash payment as well to have in your bank account to pay your existing rental or bond payment or other expenses that can come up when you're ill. And whether you're 30 or 50, it doesn't matter. Illness cover is the most important thing, and fundamentally it's the most expensive item between your life cover, your disability, and your illness cover. Illness cover is the most expensive out of all those three. And the reason is because that's where the claims are.
I was going to say.
Interesting.
Yeah, and especially as we get older. But it's not just old people that get ill. I don't know if it's the stress today or the food or the climate change. When I'm going to conspiracy theories, there's a lot more stress on people today than I think when I was in my 30s. Everything's become more expensive.
Yeah.
So you've got to work very carefully with your money. You've got to think very clearly, how do you look after yourselves? But the two of you don't need 2 policies, for example. You don't need 2 life policies. So where you might take up the life policy because you are working, you'd have, say, 1 million life cover or whatever, some disability cover and some illness cover. And then you can add your fiance's, give her some life cover or some disability cover or some illness cover. If you don't think she needs life cover because you don't own a flat or you don't own an apartment, you might think, I don't need life cover if my fiance dies. True, okay. So the next question is, well, if she's disabled tomorrow, you're going to be leaving her. I mean, that's a moral question. So
horrible, don't do that.
It's a horrible thing to think about, but it's an important thing to think about. So if something happens to my fiance, we've been together 5 years, 6 years, whatever the time is, it'll be nice to get some money in, so that you can carry on looking after her if you want to, or help her with excess medical bills and those kind of things.
Take the money and run.
And then it's less expensive, by the way, when you have your cover on one plan than you having your own separate life cover with disability and illness, and him having life, disability, and
We don't
illness
have to
separately.
we don't have to have the same name to be on the same policy.
No, you basically you are like a couple, and you're basically engaged.
Okay.
You know.
What I mean is, like, if we're boyfriend and girlfriend, do we have to be lawfully engaged or married to be on the same policy?
No, I think if you've been going out for a certain amount of years, you sort of are like common law wives. Common law husband.
Okay, I get you.
You know what I'm saying?
Spouse.
Yes, whatever you want to call it. It's it's all about affordability. So when you do these things, you want to be making sure that you stretch your rands as far as you can. So, I would have both of you on one medical aid. It's less expensive than separate. And then I would have, if I'm going to have some disability and illness cover, I'd have it on one plan. It's far less expensive. Really quite simple. I think people complicate it a lot. But there is really like a one-step process, one step after the next step after the next step in terms of how you do financial planning. Obviously, when you buy an apartment or something like that, and you have children, you might want to increase your cover to cover, if something happens to my spouse, that my bond's paid for, the house is paid for, or that my kids' education's covered. Those kind of things. But that's you're not there yet. So we're talking, to you guys, your age group.
I mean, look, from what I'm understanding on this conversation with you, Lee, is that it's a conscious decision that I, as an individual, and Alana, as an individual, have to make, or as a unit, as a couple, we have to make consciously. We want medical aid. We're going to want disability cover. It's not so much about the life cover right now. Like you said, we're young. I'm in my 30s. It's not about that. You're telling me, look where the claims are in illness, So as a young couple that needs to try and stretch those pennies, like I said, conscious decision. We're going to have the choice to take on medical aid, life cover, because it is going to be a little costly. It's a cost that we're going to incur. Medical aid, life cover, car insurance for two people.
Go out less often.
No.
I mean,
I get you.
I'm not saying to young people don't go out, but I mean, fundamentally, these things are important.
Yeah.
And it's all about being independent. And young people want to see themselves as independent. Well, if you want to be independent, independence comes with responsibility, and responsibility sometimes you have to pay for. So you spoke about life cover. I would still have life cover as a 30-year-old, definitely, because it's so cheap. I mean, it's
a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer.
And if you guys are going to buy an apartment to move into, then you'd want to have some cover in any case. So I would have one policy that covers both of you for all those three triggers, those three potential, God forbid, events. And that's simple, with your medical aid, obviously, before that. And again, both of you on the same plan.
Okay.
And that's as simple as it is. And we spoke about gap cover, but I would have
gap cover.
I would have gap cover after I have my disability and illness cover. So I would go choice of medical aid, then some life, disability, and illness cover for both of you. Then, if I still have some extra cash left over, the gap cover.
Do I uninsure my vehicle?
Of course, I'm taking for granted that your vehicle
it's been insured, yeah, fair.